Donald Trump is not president yet, as you know, but he can probably lay claim to the title of president of social media, something he worked pretty hard on even this weekend. First came Mike Pence's visit to see Hamilton on Friday night. Pence, he was booed by many of his fellow theater goers. Mixed reaction. Then after the show, the actor who plays Aaron Burr read a statement to Pence written by the show's creators and producers.
We, sir, we are the diverse America who are alarmed and anxious that your new administration will not protect us, our planet, our children, our parents, or defend us and uphold our inalienable rights, sir. But we truly hope that this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and to work on behalf of all of us.
Now, for his part, Pence said Sunday he wasn't offended by the message, but Pence's boss, not so much. Naturally took to Twitter, and he said the following: "Our wonderful future VP, Mike Pence, was harassed last night at the theater by the cast of Hamilton. Cameras blazing. This should not happen." And to punctuate it, he said, "Apologize. Theater must always be a safe and special place. The cast of Hamilton was very rude last night to a very good man, Mike Pence." First of all, safe is a word that people debated as to whether or not that's what the role of the theater is. Also, the cast and producers of Hamilton, which I hear is highly overrated, Trump went on to say, should immediately, as I said, apologize to Pence for their terrible behavior. Now, first off, I legitimately buy the argument on both sides that do you really need to be lectured to when you go to a play? You know, you're a customer. Should you be lectured from the stage? I'm not saying they don't have a right to do it. Of course, they have a right to. But was that the right place and the right time for it?
You know, for anybody who wasn't the vice president-elect of the United States, yeah, you probably don't deserve to be lectured from the stage at Hamilton. But the guy who plays Hamilton is outwardly gay, HIV positive, cancer survivor, and he's Latino. So he's a member of like 4 disassociated groups right now. How would he legitimately look in the face of his friends and family, having turned away an opportunity to make that basic plea for understanding from the future vice president? I have no problem with the comments.
I would have only said this much. If they knew that they were going to address it, they could have said in advance. Again, I don't have a huge issue with it. I do have a separate question, which is maybe it's the cynic in me. The same day that this came down, we learned that there was a settlement for $25 million with Trump and Trump University. Basically, they settled because it was all but acknowledged he defrauded students. This is, again, a president who's going to put his hand on the Bible on January 20th that he defrauded the students. Is it just coincidence that every time there's a really bad story coming out, there's a distraction, like going after the cast of Hamilton for how they acted? Obviously, he couldn't have planned that they would have said what they did to Pence in the audience. But do I give him too much credit that he planned this thing out? Or do you think that it is more than a coincidence? There always seems to be some random coincidence that doesn't have us talking about the bigger story.
I want to weigh in on the Hamilton thing, but I want to address your last question first. I don't think Trump set up this business about having another distraction. He would have found another distraction, but to Trump's credit, or in his defense, it was a settlement. It was not an admission of guilt, and there was not a trial, and there's a presumption.
The guy says he never settles.
And there's a presumption of innocence. But I want to weigh in and say that the cast was wrong. It was inappropriate for them to call out Mr. Pence. Remember, this is a very white guy who goes to see this wonderful hip-hop musical, brilliant musical, but he pays money to go. He's the vice president-elect. That's a show of support, arguably, for the messages of the people who wrote and produced this show. They could have taken out a full-page ad in the newspaper.
Or even in the playbill.
They could have written a letter to him.
Playbill, yeah.
I thought it was inappropriate to blindside him like that.
And the debate shall continue. Gentlemen, thank you both very much. When we come back here, we'll take a look at some local headlines. Stay with us.